Okay, today, boys and girls, we're gonna make Philly cheesesteaks. The ingredients are pretty straightforward. We're gonna use some shaved steak. It already comes that way, or you can cut your own if you're really feeling adventurous. Some peppers and onions, once again, pre-packaged. Very handy that way. A few portobellos, mini portobellos that are in the fridge. Any of your favorite cheese, and of course some bread to put it on. The countertop griddle is probably my favorite cooking utensil in the kitchen. A little bit of olive oil, and then we use that to fry the vegetables with. And we come over and we set the temperature for somewhere in the mid 300s. Since the mini portobellos weren't already cut, I'm going to go ahead and chop those up a little bit. Since mushrooms take longer than a lot of other things, I'm going to go ahead and get them started while I get the other vegetables ready. Since there were so many of the peppers and onions, I went ahead and chopped the peppers into some smaller pieces. I'm going to save the onions till the other vegetables are a little further along. While that's going on, I'm going to go ahead and open up a couple buns and get those prepped. As you can see, we've got a pretty good amount of cooking going on. Add a little bit of oil here to help these vegetables get a little bit more active. We'll be adding the meat soon, but I do want to give these veggies a head start because they're going to take just a little longer. Now, after about 5 minutes or so have passed, the vegetables are starting to come along. I'm going to be adding the onions, and I'll be laying the meat onto the side. Now that we've got the onions added in, I'm just going to give it a little bit more oil in this area. We want to get those onions cooking. We want to get those juices out. We want to get them mixed in with the other vegetables here. We're going to be mixing this all up very soon. One of the most important tricks for the beef, especially you get the stuff that's made from the store, 40 shaved, you want to get that spread out as much as possible so you can get the heat distributed. As you can see, the vegetables are coming along nicely. And I want the beef to cook through, which is why I'm letting it go for a while before mixing it with any of the vegetables. Now, I knew the meat would cook pretty fast. That's why I held it off until everything else was coming along pretty good. Since the mushrooms are pretty well done, I'm going to go ahead and set those on top of the meat because at this point, basically just going to be mixing things together. We want those flavors to start combining now that they're mature in the heat. Gotta love that sizzle. This isn't my first time making this, but this is my first time filming it, in case you can't tell. I'll just be mixing this, continuing to mix it until it's ready to serve. The very last thing to put on, and you can use whatever flavor you like, provolone, Havarti, Swiss. Today I happen to have some cheddar, so I'm going to throw a little of that on. Sorry, it's hard to do this with one hand. That gets melted in here in a minute. I'm going to pull this off, stick it on a hoagie, and find out what it tastes like. When you're satisfied, go ahead and turn the heat off and serve. Okay, I've got a couple of hoagies here ready. Just pull some off. Drop it in place. Get a second one going here, so we'll have one in standby because one's never enough. Okay. And a little bit more for good measure. Let's go find out what this puppy tastes like. And now for the moment of truth. Not too bad.